Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I am here to talk about my collection of cult. These are the Bad Habit. Sorry, I actually accidentally grabbed a different one I had. These are the Bad Habit Cult palettes. So these are the dupe palettes for the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. Unfortunately, I do not own a Pat McGrath Mothership palette to compare these to, so we're just going to be talking about these cult palettes. We're going to talk about the formula in them, how they perform, and yeah, so let's just go ahead and jump into this. I do wish that I had a Pat McGrath palette to kind of compare these to, and maybe in the future I will bite the bullet and pay that $125 for one of those, but right now I'm going to stick with the dupe palettes. I have watched tons of videos from people who have done comparisons, who do own both of the palettes, and they have been very pleased with these cult palettes and how they perform next to the Pat McGrath palettes. So I went ahead and grabbed them all on Black Friday. I did get some off of the, I got one off of the Hush website because I did have points, and I got it for like $13. And then I got the rest of them off the Bad Habit website. They were having a great Black Friday sale, and then I was able to use a discount code as well. So I think I paid about $15 for each of these palettes, if not less. These palettes do retail for $24.99. They are quite pricey for a Bad Habit palette, but apparently they did redo the formula, or they came out with a completely new formula, or a couple completely new formulas for these palettes, making them cost more, which I understand if you're duping, luxury shadows like Pat McGrath, and you're trying to get the formula spot on. I can imagine that they had to use, a more expensive formula. So, which would be my guess that is why these have a higher price tag. So anyways, let's jump right into this. I'm going to try to tell you which Mothership palette these are a dupe for, but I'm not super familiar with the Mothership palettes, so as far as the numbers. So anyways, let's just go ahead and start talking about them. Okay, this is the Cult Mania palette. This is the last palette that just released, and I believe this is a dupe for the Mothership 5 palette that just came out. This has a beautiful range of warm shades in it. You've got 1, 2, 3 matte shades in here. These are quite dark matte shades, so I don't believe that this would be a standalone palette. It would definitely not be a standalone palette for me. I will have to bring in another probably all matte palette, and with some kind of lighter and mid-tones to kind of incorporate into this. These do come with an insert in them, and I hope I saved one of the inserts, but they do come with an insert in them telling you that these kind of shades down here are best used with a finger. They are quite chunky, glitter topper shades. They're very, very beautiful, though. I usually use one of these shades on top of any look that I do, and they're just gorgeous. They just put this layer of shine on the lid that is really out of this world, and I've heard that is what is so great about the Pat McGrath palettes, is that this formula that she has is just second to none. And I've heard that even these palettes don't dupe it. I've heard from other YouTubers and by watching other dupe videos that there's just the Pat McGrath eyeshadows just melt into the lid in a way that these can't. So of course you are only paying $24.99 for these and $125 for the Pat McGrath. So anyways, let's go ahead and swatch some of these shades. I do have all 5 of these palettes, so I'm just going to swatch a few. I'll go ahead and do the red, which is more of a metallic shade, and then I will do one of these glittery toppers. So, okay. These two are mattes. This is a metallic, and this is the topper shade. These mattes are very, very richly pigmented, and I will tell you, if you don't go in with a light hand, if you go in a little hot and get too much into the crease, it will stick down in one place. It will stick to your eyeshadow primer or concealer, whatever you use on your lids. it will stick and it will be very difficult to blend out. So especially with these darker mattes. I have not had that problem with some of the lighter mattes in some of the other palettes, but with these darker mattes, when I did use this palette and I did use some of the darker mattes in here, I did have a problem where it would stick down in one area and I was having a hard time blending it out. So anyways, those are some of the shades from the Cult Mania palette. This is the dupe for the Mothership 5. Really, really beautiful palettes. I'm really, really happy that I picked these up. I have spent many hours just sitting with these palettes, swatching them, putting the topper shades over every shade in the palette to kind of see what shades they create, and you can get some really unique, beautiful shades by doing that. So, and I'm going to show you with this palette one of the combinations that you can do that is just amazing. So this is the Cult Mystics palette, and this is what this looks like. This, I believe, is a dupe for the Mothership 1, so the first one that came out. This is a cooler toned palette, so you've got some cooler tone mattes in here. You only have 3 mattes in this palette. You've got the black matte, you've got this kind of chocolatey brown matte, as well as this really beautiful crease shade. This is a great transition shade. Really the perfect transition shade in my opinion. That really beautiful kind of dough colored brown. It's really beautiful. Again, you've got a couple of the kind of metallic or satin shades. These are not high impact at all, so I would not go in thinking that you're going to get a highly foiled look with those. You will not, but if you put one of the topper shades on top of it, that will transform it into a highly foiled look. So let's go ahead and swatch some of these shades here. Okay, so this is a gold topper, this is a metallic, and 2 mattes. Mattes are quite chunky, you will get quite a bit of kick up. And this is one of those topper shades. Really, really beautiful. Let me go ahead and swatch one of the more satiny shades so you can see that they're not super metallic. This is the kind of purple. It looks almost matte, but it's got that sheen to it. It's more of just a satin. But you can see not a lot of impact with that, but if you put one of the topper shades over it, you would get that kind of foiled look. But I believe that that's kind of nice because really any kind of age group could get these palettes and and have a look, because you can do a really nice neutral look that's not super foiled, that's not out there, that's really everyday friendly. So okay, I'm just going to go in with this kind of icy white topper shade that has a strong blue reflect, and I just want to show you what that does over this blue and what kind of a shade that creates. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Come on, camera. There we go. I mean, it just gives that wet look to the eyes. It's just so gorgeous. And then those beautiful mattes. Just really a beautiful palette. So that is the Cult Mystics palette. That is the dupe for the Mothership 1. Okay, moving right along. We're going to go on to the Cult Mayhem palette. Now this is a dupe for either the Mothership 3 or 4, I believe. I'm not totally sure. This is the more colorful palette. This has 0 mattes in it. These are all shimmers or metallic shades. Really beautiful color selection though. You've got some cool tones in here, you've got some warm tones in here, gold, red, just really, really beautiful. This silver here is more of one of those topper shades, so it's highly, highly foiled. Just really a beautiful, beautiful topper shade. It's really going to transform any of these colors into that kind of wet, kind of metallic look. I'll go ahead and do this kind of taupe, which, oh, it's just such a gorgeous taupe shade. This blue, this purple, and let's do this kind of bronzy color. Okay. This is one of my favorite palettes just because the formula of these metallics is it's kind of thick. It's just really beautiful. There's a lot of substance to it. You can see that they're just really beautiful. And then with that kind of topper shade, I love these. I want to buy one of the smaller Pat McGrath palettes. I've got my eye on the little Bronze Ambition palette so that I can kind of see if this formula is at all similar to her formula. So anyways, moving right along, let's get into the next palette, which is the Mystery palette. Again, not completely sure which palette this is duping. I want to say maybe the fourth one, but I'm not totally sure. This has some beautiful, it only has two mattes in it, so the black and the brown here. This has some beautiful kind of warmer shades. It's got some purples, greens, blues, pinks. These are topper shades. Well, actually all four of these are topper shades. They're just gorgeous. This is very similar to that blue shade that is in the Desi and Katie Dose of Colors palette. Very, very similar. So if you're looking for, if you don't have that palette, this as well as this kind of olivey green shade, again, very similar to that. And the formula is also very similar. So, okay, let's go ahead and swatch some of these. Let's do this pink. I'll do this green. I'll do the blue, and then let's do this gunmetal gray. And then I'll swatch the mattes. Green and that blue. So chartreuse green is probably my favorite color of life. I love it so much. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'll swatch, I'm just going to swatch the matte brown because the black, well, no, I'll swatch the black for you so you can see kind of what that black looks like, whether it's a good, I haven't even swatched it, so we'll see together if it's a good, dark black or if it's a grayish powdery black. No, that's a pretty good black. Pretty good black and a nice nice warm brown. So again, not going to be a standalone palette with only the two matte shades, and them being such dark matte shades, you would have to pull something in with this, but really, really beautiful palette. I love these. Okay, I'm gonna have to get a different makeup wipe here. This one's getting to where I think I'm just rubbing eyeshadow all over myself rather than cleaning it off. Okay, so let's talk about the Cult Mythos palette next. Now, this one I believe is a dupe for the Mothership 2 palette. This is the one with this gorgeous green in it. This is more of a neutral palette, so this has got your kind of taupey bronze color. Again, only two mattes. I believe the same two matte shades that were in the last palette that we just swatched. And then these four are those kind of chunky glitter topper shades. So gorgeous. And then you've got your four kind of satiny or metallic shades. So let's go ahead and swatch. I'm going to do this bronze shade. These do have quite a bit of kick up in the pan. They're so soft and buttery. They're just really, really a beautiful formula. So I'll go ahead and swatch the kind of satiny metallic shades for you, and then I'll swatch all 4 toppers. And these really are soft, super, super soft shadows. Again, not a lot of impact with these shades unless you do top them, but I think that that's the whole point of these palettes, is to really be able to have fun with those toppers and kind of create your own looks with them. As well as being everyday friendly, because you really could, with any one of these palettes, you really could do, you know, an everyday look with them. This green, which is my absolute favorite shade in the palette. Okay, those are the 4 topper shades. This green is just amazing. And I was scared it was going to be a super black based green, so that, you know, more of the black would come through than the green, but it's not. The green is just this gorgeous, gorgeous, shiny emerald that comes through. So that is the Cult Mythos palette. Really, really beautiful. Oh, and sorry, that is it. That is all 5 of them. I forgot I accidentally brought out another dupe palette that I have, which is this dupe for this, it's this Interstellar Prism Makeup palette. I did get this off of Amazon as well. It is supposed to be a dupe for the Born to Run palette. This is what it looks like. I'll just show you real quick since I did bring it out here. Let me know if anybody wants to see a video on this. I did use it once, wasn't super impressed, so... but I would be happy to do a video on that if you would like to see it. Anyways, those are all of the Bad Habit Cult palettes. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have not yet subscribed, please do. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.